This is Geranium Mavis Simpson, and if you're one of my clients, you already know I love this plant and the geranium family. A lot of people confuse these with pelargoniums, which are like the Martha Washington geraniums. These are not related. That's why we don't use common names any more than we have to. This is it's a true geranium. So what I love about this plant is from April until probably September, October, you're going to have bloom. If you get a hotter summer, that may not last as long, and we're in the middle of August right now, and these are starting to get a little tired in my garden, so we may have a shorter bloom cycle, but they start in early April in our area and bloom solid until then. You'll see in the photograph that I include that it's a much heavier bloom. When they're starting to finish their bloom, what they're going to do is this foliage that you see in the middle here, this will start to grow again. While they're blooming, you'll barely see any foliage because they're putting all their energy into that bloom, and these little side leaves don't really do much. So this is kind of a sign that this plant's getting ready to, I would deadhead it soon, and when I do so, this foliage will start to fill in and get fuller and darker, and for the winter you'll still have an evergreen tuft of foliage there. So it is an evergreen perennial in our area. We get in the high 20s and it will stay evergreen in that situation, and then we get up into the low 100s as our high temperature. And also some of the geraniums like a little more shade. This one performs best in full sun. That's where you're going to get the best bloom cycle out of it, is if you put it in full sun. I've put it in part shade as well. It does fine, but it doesn't bloom as heavily as when I put it in full sun, so I recommend that. It is not drought tolerant, it likes regular water, and it also needs good feeding. If you want this to bloom as well as much as possible, I would tell you in the spring to use a rose food or a food that has plenty of phosphorus in it, so that and potassium, so you get a good bloom out of it, and because it is a workhorse in terms of blooming, but it's got to have the nutrients to do that for you. So also spacing. I do plant these in groups. I would tell you to plant them about 16 inches on center, and the reason to do that is so that in the winter when they are not blooming, you still have a nice green carpet. Now I've got a plant here and a plant here. These are only about 12 inches on center, but that's me. This is in my front yard, and in the winter I just want solid green there. So if you want to know that you're going to have solid green in the winter, plant these about 12 inches on center. The height there, here's my hand just for reference, and these are about 6 to 8 inches high, and they may get as high as 10 inches when they're in full mass bloom, but other than that, they're typically about 8 inches tall. So Geranium Mavis Simpson, excellent flowering ground cover, beautiful pink flowers. And by the way, I'm going to include Russell Pritchard in this. They are identical in terms of their leaf. You can't tell them apart unless they're blooming, but the Russell Pritchard has the stronger flower color that you see in these additional photos, which I will label. And other than that, everything about them is identical, just the flower is different.